A very good afternoon. This is Dr. Anamta Rizvi, your UGC NET English Literature Educator at Study IQ. Today we are going to do a very important theory, that is eco-criticism. It is important because it is a very relevant topic. हम लोग environment के बारे में, global warming के बारे में we are talking all the time. So of course, eco-criticism becomes a very likely question to be asked in the UGC NET exam. And eco-criticism अब rise पर है. So it's a very small theory, कोई बहुत ही बड़ा theory नहीं है, आसान है समझने के लिए. बस ये important है कि कौन ये term लाया, कौन सा critical work है इसका जो कि important है, कौन से writers eco-criticism के ऊपर लिखते हैं, and who are the ones who are talking about nature, environment. These aspects are very, very important. So today we are going to deal with that. Before that, just let me check whether I'm audible, visible. All right. Perfect. So I'm audible, visible. So we are going to ahead with that. So you have eco-criticism. You have this book open and you can see the entire ecology that you say, environment, the entire ecosystem that we can see. You can comprehend from that picture. So in just simple words, it is like we as humans, how much we deal with the environment around us. Literature also captures that. Literature mein bhi uska note hota hai. So we are going to discuss that in a simple manner. So talking about this, guys, we have also, guys, we are getting our batch start from 3rd October. Our price जो के course है discount आप लगाएंगे उस पे with the code September SEPT SEPT. Use this code, you are going to get the course for 5,999. Further 500 rupees का discount मिलेगा once you put my code, that is AR Live. Guys, we are very much expecting that the exam will happen in December, especially इतना जो pressure है NTA के ऊपर, so exam definitely December में होगा. Very limited time left, only 2 months left for that to happen. So we are, if you are preparing for UGC NET December JRF this December, so go ahead and avail this course. Come, we are starting the batch. So it's a fresh new batch that we are starting, and maybe this could be the last batch. So go ahead and take the course and attend all the classes. Now we are talking about me. I'm Anamta Rizvi. Dr. Anamta Rizvi did my PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia, qualified my GRF. Today I'm here educator. You can follow me on my Telegram channel, that is Dr. Anamta Rizvi, English Literature. That for updates, for classes, notes, PDF, MCQs and all. Okay. So, okay, criticism. What is eco-criticism? Let's talk about this. Eco-criticism. Definition: eco-criticism is the study of how literature represents and interacts with the natural environment. Very simple. That is all that eco-criticism is. कि literature nature के साथ कैसे interact करता है. This is what eco-criticism is. Literature में nature को कैसे represent किया जा रहा है, in a good way, in a bad way, in a disinterested way. How are writers, authors representing nature? Nature, the very sense of our existence, how that is being represented in nature. Origin coined in the late 1970s. All these are coming from the post-structuralist theory that you could say. Post-structuralist theory हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था 1960s में आई है. Post that, all those theories are coming. 1970s was the term wherein, conferences were also happening. Environment के according laws बन रहे थे across the world regarding environment. So this was a very good time, a very ripe time कि eco-criticism literature में आए. So as responsible critics, people got eco-criticism to talk about the nature that is being talked in literature. This became widely known in the 1990s. 1990s में इसने और fame पकड़ा through the work of Cheryl Glott-Felty. Cheryl Glott-Felty ने 1990s में ये इसको बहुत popularize किया था. We will read about that. 1970s में किसने coin किया था हम लोग ये भी देखेंगे. Key idea क्या है? इसका basic idea है, it looks how nature is portrayed in books, poems, stories, and how these portrayals influence our understanding of the environment. We are influenced by books. How the books are showing us कि nature क्या है और हम लोग किस तरह से nature को समझ रहे हैं. Purpose, this is to explore the relationship between humans and nature through literature and raise awareness of environmental issues. Very basic, environment के बारे में awareness पैदा करने के लिए literature becomes a very good tool to spread awareness, and eco-criticism is that. Nature था, हर book में nature के बारे में बात होती है, talk about description, जब describe कर रहे होते हैं novelist, वो definitely अपने surrounding के बारे में बात कर रहा होता है. लेकिन एक lens आ गया है, that was the lens is eco-criticism का lens. Now people have started talking about eco-criticism, so that is 1970s में fairly new theory. 1970s में term आया, 1990s में बहुत पॉपुलर हो गया था ये टर्म. All right, so let me see if any of my students has any question on this. All right, okay, so going ahead with this. All right, moving ahead, guys. So here we have eco-criticism. Who coined this term? Now this is important. किसने ये term coin किया था? This term was coined by William Rickett. Okay, William Rickett 1978 में term आया है. कौन सी book में? The term was introduced in the essay Literature and Ecology, an Experiment in Eco-Criticism. Okay, this was the book. 1978 में एक और बहुत ही important work आया है and that was एडवर्ड साइड का ओरिएंटलिज्म. 1978 बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ईयर था. सो दो बड़े टेक्स्ट आए थे, एक इको-क्रिटिसिज्म पे, एक पोस्ट कलोनियलिज्म पे. एडवर्ड साइड टॉक्ड अबाउट ओरिएंटलिज्म एंड 1978 में विलियम रिकेट टॉक्ड अबाउट literature and ecology, an experiment in eco-criticism. Okay, it was part of an essay collection discussing the relationship between literature and the environment. As simple as that. 1978 में this was a term that was being used. Okay, so now we are coming ahead to this. Then you are coming ahead to another very important point, and that is who was Glotfelty. Glotfelty, William Rickett ने तो इसको coin किया term को, लेकिन popularity इसकी हुई है 1990s में. Cheryl Glotfelty, all these can very easily come in the exam because eco-criticism पे अभी because it is on a rise, तो आपको ये questions बहुत easily आ सकते हैं. किसने coin किया, किसने popularize किया, कौन सी book थी, and so on. So Cheryl Glotfelty, a key figure in founding scholar of eco-criticism, contribution क्या था? It brought eco-criticism to the prominence in academic circles in the 1990s. इसका key work क्या था? Glotfelty ने लिखा था co-edit the eco-criticism reader landmarks in literary ecology. You can see 1996. 1978 में ये term coin हुआ, धीरे धीरे popular increase हुआ 1996 में. This got very popular thanks to Glotfelty for the popularization of the term. Book का क्या नाम था? The Eco-Criticism Reader Landmarks in Literary Ecology. A very very important book. Focus, book का focus था again examining कि literature कैसे interact करता है environment के साथ और reflect करता है ecological concerns. Impact क्या था? This helped establish eco-criticism as a formal area of literature, as a formal area of literary study. We all know कि nature था, लेकिन एक formal तरीका था पढ़ने का literature, and Glotfelty showed us the way कि इस तरीके से पढ़ना है. Next you are coming ahead to key concepts. अब 4 concepts. That the 4 main concepts in eco-criticism is anthropocentrism versus ecocentrism, deep ecology, ecofeminism and environmental justice. ये 4 terms हैं. इनको समझने के लिए very easily they can be asked in the question, but इसको समझने के लिए we need to see what are these terms talking about. What is anthropocentrism and ecocentrism? Anthro. Let's talk about the first concept. Anthropocentrism versus ecocentrism. Anthropocentrism means ये idea है जहाँ पे humans को center पे रखता है. It says that humans are at the center. So humans are more important than nature. Anthropocentrism कहता है कि ये human है, no matter what, हमें sustain करना है, हमें जीना है, उसके लिए हम लोग चाहे exploit भी करें the resources को, that is okay, that is fine. But ecocentrism इसका उल्टा है. वो कहता है this concept values nature for its own sake. Ecocentrism कहता है no, nature also has to have a equal value, saying that all living things are equally important, not just humans. So वो ये नहीं कह रहा कि nature ही सबसे ज़्यादा important है. वो कह रहा है balance होना चाहिए. जितना importance nature को मिल रहा है उतना ही importance humans को मिलना चाहिए. That is ecocentrism. And anthropocentrism is saying no, humans should be absolutely at the center, and that is a negative concept, right? This is a more balanced and a positive concept. So this is the key concept of anthropocentrism. Then comes deep ecology. What is this? This idea believes that every living being, plants, animals, humans, has its own value and should be respected no matter how useful it is to humans. Ecology, we know the ecological balance, a very scientific concept, but a very easy concept. We know that we are linked. We are linked in the ecosystem. There is a chain, and everyone in that chain is important, right? That is exactly what ecocentrism is saying. And this is the picture like in चाहे वो animals हो, aquatic life हो, humans हो, trees हो, birds हो, everything holds importance in this universe. Guys, ecocentrism एक बहुत नया concept है, and you know people keep asking me that you know in which area should I delve more. PhD के लिए ecocentrism बहुत अच्छा PhD के topics बन के आ सकते हैं. So you know if you are exploring something, do explore ecocentrism, ecocriticism, because it is getting a great momentum in the West as well as in our countries. Okay. Next you have coming ahead to ecofeminism. Now what is ecofeminism? How nature and feminist walk together, in what aspect we will look. This concept connects how both women and nature are treated unfairly. Okay, so the concept of living in a patriarchal society where man is the center. So feminists have the fight against this gender issues. Okay, no, why should man be at the center? And ecocriticism also has the same issue, that why should man be at the center? And how they are exploited, how nature is exploited, how women are exploited. So it argues that the same forces that exploit nature, like pollution or destruction, are also responsible for women's oppression. Okay, so all these aspects, ecofeminism, क्यों हम लोग nature feminism को साथ में ले सकते हैं? Because the idea of suppressing both the aspect, nature and women, are in the hands of the man, and that's a patriarchal issue. Okay, so this was ecofeminism. Next you are coming to environmental justice, a key concept and the last concept in ecocriticism. This idea looks at how environmental problems like pollution or climate change often affect poorer or marginalized people more than the others. If women are being marginalized, then of course another section that is poor, जो कि low class है, not privileged enough, they are the ones who suffer the most. Okay, so it calls for a fair treatment of all people, no matter their background, when dealing with environmental issues. Okay, so whenever we all know that how we combat with environmental issues, and how you know villages are displaced, little rural life उनकी पूरी displace हो जाती है in order to make big industries, big companies, and that is how literature also depicts the same. Okay, so now we will see that how authors their works on eco-criticism. We are going to discuss कि कौन से authors थे जिन्होंने eco-criticism पे काम किया है. Now we are coming to Rachel Carson. Okay, this is Silent Spring 1962. She exposed the dangers of pesticides sparking environmental movements. Okay, Silent Spring, all these are literature works, guys, and very can be very much asked in the exam, because eco-criticism is on a rise. Everybody talks about global warming, global environment. अगर questions इससे आएंगे तो not surprising. So we need to be well prepared for such questions. और जो इसके critics हैं, जो main critics हैं, main concepts हैं, इनको आपको याद करना है. So we are coming to Rachel Carson, Silent Spring 1962, expose the dangers of pesticides sparking environment movements. Amitav Ghosh, the very legendary Indian writer Amitav Ghosh, उनका The Hungry Tide है, 2004 में ये work आया था. वो क्या examine करता है? It's a fiction work. Examines human and environmental conflicts in the Sundarbans. A very nice question can come in the exam about Amitav Ghosh, that you know, what aspect of environment is he talking about? He's talking about Sundarbans. Or which writer talks about eco-criticism? And that is your Amitav Ghosh. All right. Then comes your Barbara Kingsolver, Flight Behavior. This is 2012 work, recent work, just 10-12 years back. This focuses on climate change and its effects on human life. Anybody planning to do a PhD? These are the authors that you can take for your eco-criticism. All right. So you can explore the work. Still an unexplored territory, but I'm sure कि इस पे बहुत recent work आने वाला है. So it's a very good topic for discussion. Margaret Atwood का 2003 का work है. Oryx and Crake, a dystopian novel exploring ecological destruction and its consequences. And then comes Edward Abbey, Desert Solitaire 1968. Advocates for nature preservation through personal experiences in the American Southwest. These are the works that are very prominent, जो कि बहुत ही they have garnered a big name in eco-criticism. These are the authors, you can read more about them. We are going to talk about critics also, but these are the authors that have written fictional works, okay? So there are many authors like them talking about, there are many movies that are being created on eco-criticism. So of course, they also become a very important part. Okay, so moving ahead with this, next you have is literary critics of eco-criticism. तो अभी हम लोग ने authors देखे थे. Authors are of prime importance. Now we are going to discuss about, hi, okay, hi Harshita, hi Anshu. All right. Okay. All right, guys. So moving ahead with this. Now we're talking about literary critics of eco-criticism. एक तो हमें दो हमें पता है. We know that Gerald Glotfelty ने और William Rickett ने, we know that Rickett coined the term, and Gerald Glotfelty was the one to popularize this term. So eco-criticism reader लिखा था 1996 में, जहाँ से eco-criticism बहुत popular हुआ था. Define and establish the field of eco-criticism. Another critic that we have is Lawrence Boole, The Environmental Imagination 1995, explores the representation of nature in American literature. Lawrence Boole. We still need to have literary critics talking on environment in India, Indian writing in English. We will definitely figure it out. कोई ना कोई ज़रूर लिखेगा. Anyways, so talking about William Rickett, Literature and Ecology and Experiment Eco-Criticism, very important name because William Rickett was the first, the pioneer, जिन्होंने eco-criticism पे बात किया था. This was 1978, coined the term eco-criticism. Greg Garrard, Eco-Criticism 2004 में provides a very comprehensive introduction to key concepts and approaches in this field. So can you see सारे works बहुत latest हैं. 1978 में एक work आया, उसके बाद से जितने भी works आ रहे हैं that is around 90s 2000 को touch करते हुए आ रहे हैं और beyond that. Eco-criticism a very recent field but very important from today's perspective. Now we are coming ahead to, okay, so there are three kinds of eco-critical literature. Let's talk about the first kind, and that is pastoral literature. Pastoral literature, you know, unknowingly भी कितने writers हैं जो कि जैसे Philip Sidney की Arcadia Philip Sidney का, that talks so much about nature. He's talking about nature in a very positive aspect. Okay, so can you think of somebody who has talked about nature in a negative aspect? Well, Thomas Hardy nature को कितना negative way में दिखाता है, cruel way में, dark. Okay, similarly, if you talk about Robert Frost talks about woods, and they're dark and he's talking about both, they're dark, deep and lovely. Okay, so unknowingly poets have talked about environment, nature in so many aspects. You can, there's endless potential in exploring how the authors, how the writers, how poems, fictions have talked about nature in different aspects. Talking about pastoral literature, pastoral, the word is quite, an old one because it is coming from the medieval period, the pastoral work. हम लोग ने बहुत देखा उस time पे. Description क्या है? Pastoral literature celebrates the beauty of rural life and nature, contrasting it with the corruption of cities. So beauty of nature. Okay, that is pastoral literature, a very positive concept of literature. तो वो आइडलाइज करते हैं कि विलेज लाइफ ऐसी है, विलेज लाइफ वैसी है. सो मेनी हैव टॉक्ड. फॉर इंस्टेंस थॉमस ग्रे ने जो an elegy written in the country churchyard, that talks about nature in such a positive aspect. हमारे सारे romantic critics are talking about nature in the most positive aspect. That's also eco-criticism. You can apply those theories there as well. Example, As You Like It, that's long time back, 1599 में जो विलियम शेक्सपियर ने लिखा था, highlights the peaceful, can you see, look at the peaceful, idyllic picture in the forest of Arden versus the complexities of court life. उनके time पे, of course, urban living तो इतना नहीं था, but court life, that was so full of complexities. So can you look at this picture also, guys? This picture, दूर पे cities हैं, such long buildings, but what the peace is here. Okay, so that is a very simple kind of literature, that is pastoral literature. Very simple, very easy. Another is wilderness and sublime. एक तो हो गया जहाँ पे pastoral literature authors ने ना very positive connotation use किया. They talked about pastoral literature in many ways. But then there is wilderness and sublime description. This focuses on the awe-inspiring and sometimes frightening aspects of untamed nature. Example, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley describes the terrifying beauty of the Swiss Alps embodying the sublime in nature. Okay, so ज़्यादातर pastoral literature is talking about the positive aspect, but what about when nature is being discussed as something that is not very positive? For instance, मैंने बोला Thomas Hardy, it describes nature in a very crude manner, as in, you know, he tries to describe nature so that to set the mood of the story, dark and you know, everything is blurry, cloudy, less light. Okay, so literature can be used in a manner for the authors to depict what is the setting of the entire novel. Okay, so Thomas Hardy uses wilderness a lot in his work. Frankenstein may be used hua hai. So in the comment section, quickly tell me, what do you think, what other authors have talked about wilderness as in a little negative connotation that has with nature. Okay, so all these aspects can be very easily discovered. So we talked about pastoral literature, positive concept, जहाँ पे wilderness and sublime, जो कि जहाँ पे authors ये दिखा रहे हैं, another side of nature. You also have post-colonial eco-criticism, and that is description studies how colonialism led to environmental damage and the exploitation of land and people. So post-colonial eco-criticism is very relevant because it was the colonizers who came to the land, exploited the natural resources, exploited the ecosystem, the entire, चाहे वो deforestation हो, from the land to the mineral resources to everything was exploited, and that becomes a very huge part of eco-criticism. So studies how colonialism led to environmental damage and the exploitation of land and people. For instance, Things Fall Apart में, a very renowned colonial text by Chinua Achebe 1958 में आया था. ये क्या explore करता है? It explores the environmental and cultural consequences of British colonization in Nigeria. Guys, these are different aspects. If anyone is planning for PhD, मैं PhD के लिए pitch कर रही हूँ कि अगर किसी को करना है तो you can take either pastoral literature, you can take wilderness in literature, you can take the post-colonial aspect of literature, and you can talk about eco-criticism in that manner. Okay, so that becomes a very relevant topic and a very interesting topic, something that we research इतनी ज़्यादा India में नहीं हुआ है, and this is like coming up again and again. Okay, next you are coming ahead to another aspect, and that is, okay, so there were waves of eco-criticism. We know कि 1970s में एक wave आया, फिर 99. Let us look at the wave of eco-criticism. हर critical criticism का wave आया, feminist criticism का भी wave आया. तो look at the first one. When did this come? So first wave of eco-criticism, it was long time back. Okay, focuses on nature writing, wilderness and landscape. Okay, this is when the, what is first wave? जब awareness आती है कि इसके ऊपर बात करना ज़रूरी है. That is a wave. The wave of thinking, the wave of thought, the wave of criticism and analysis. तो first wave आई है in Henry David Thoreau के work में Walden 1854. Walden was the first one to talk about nature and talk about nature with an awareness that we are a part of nature. Nature is as important to us as the human is important to this world. And with that awareness, Henry David Thoreau wrote Walden, and he advocated, उसने बोला that for simple living and a deep connection with nature. Okay, so this was also being popularized by the Romantic poets. We can say that yes, the first wave also was also bringing in the Romantic era. So we can say 1854, 1850 William Wordsworth died, right? So ये पूरा का पूरा Wordsworth was also talking about this, the Romantic poets. But Walden was a very conscious attempt to make people feel that, you know, nature के साथ simple living करो, this is how we should. That is considered the first wave of eco-criticism. Period, this emerged in the 1950s, आया है 1970s with early environmental movements, and this came in the 1970s later on. Second wave, we can see, expands to include urban environments, global warming and broader social justice concerns. Key figure थे Lawrence Buell, we just discussed about him. इनका work था 1995 में आया था, the environmental imagination. Now this was a time where globalization was happening rapidly. There was a complete increase in the capitalist market, and once that came, of course, there were industries, factories, deforestation, so many aspects. So this had to be talked about in respect to literature. So ये explore करता है कि how literature reflects environmental issues, including urban and global concerns, and that period is 1990s. So can you see, 1990s में the world was changing, India was changing, capitalist market was coming, globalization was happening, and that was the key point where in the second phase of second wave of criticism came with Lawrence Boole. Okay, all these writers are very important, these fiction writers. Then you come to the next point, and that is the third wave and the last wave of post-colonial eco-criticism. Integrates perspectives from post-colonial point of view, eco-feminist point of view, and global environmental crisis. Now, third wave is most aware. यहाँ पे जितनी भी पॉइंट है, चाहे वो पोस्ट कलोनियलिज्म हो, फेमिनिस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, इकोलॉजिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, इको क्रिटिसिज्म इज टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल दैट इन इट्स थर्ड वेव. की फिगर कौन है? रॉब निक्सन. इनका काम क्या है? स्लो वायलेंस एंड द एनवायरमेंटलिज्म ऑफ द पुअर, 2011, a very recent work, focuses on the long-term environmental impacts on marginalized communities. So third wave is talking about people who are at the margins, people who are at the periphery, people जिनको relegate कर दिया जाता है. So who is, again the critique comes that man is the center and everything is relegated to the periphery, it is relegated to the margins. तो यहाँ पे period around 2000 onwards, this gained rapid advancement, and this is how it happened during that period. Next we have importance क्या है eco-criticism का. I'm coming towards the last slide. That was all about eco-criticism for today, guys. This is the last slide that we are talking about. Of course, it is to raise awareness. Literature लिखा जाता है for all us to consume, to understand our environment, and definitely raise an awareness. Promote sustainability, balance with nature, explores human nature relationship in text, how our relationship with this human. Amitabh Ghosh is a very quintessential example of depicting nature and the relationship with it. Highlights marginalized voices affected by environmental damage, and it offers fresh insight into literary works. A complete fresh insight. We've been talking about post-colonialism, feminism, so many aspects, but what about looking the text from the eco-criticism lens? That is important. आप कैसे mirror हो रहा है nature उन works में? That's a very new, fresh topic to be discovered. All right. So, okay, guys, again, just talking about this. That was the last PPT. That last PPT of the day. We are starting with a very brand new batch. That is 3rd October से. Course का price है 5999. आप कोड लगाएंगे SEPT सेप्ट कोड लगाएंगे 30 सितंबर तक ही वैलिड है. सो यू आर गोइंग टू गेट डिस्काउंट. मेरा कोड लगाओगे AR लाइव तो 500 रुपीज और डिस्काउंट में मिलेगा. This is the deal that's till 30th September, and as we are expecting the exam to happen in December, so please, if you are planning कि JRF करना है, NET करना है, so go ahead, avail the course and start with your preparations. We are going in a very, that's my how I teach in a all those big concepts. I teach in a very simple manner, and go ahead with the classes and look for yourself. Okay. So thank you everyone. If anyone has any questions, please you guys can ask me in the comment section. All right. And please do subscribe to this channel, Study IQ, UGC NET Study IQ, for more such videos. And do like the video, share with your friends, and let me know if anyone has any questions. Okay. So I think, okay. Thank you everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow. And for my paid classes are from 9 to 11 in the morning. In case paid classes कोई मिस कर देता है, आप आराम से recorded lecture सुन सकते हैं. सारी PPTs मिलेंगी, चाहे YouTube की PPT हो, recorded lecture की PPT, you get those PPTs, you can study very easily. And of course, my YouTube class happens every day here. And do watch all the recorded videos also, so that we can go ahead with a very comprehensive